As you can see, I'm our company Trade VSA. We are one of the so-called co-founder, and we created this apps, which is a SMARTRobie apps, which I will try to demonstrate to the audience here. So make sure you are able to use this, whether you are new millennium, a new beginner, and this is extremely easy to use. So with all the bells and whistle that typically system would have. So Trade VSA, we are one of the first startup in Malaysia that looks into the financial analytics, able to enable new beginners, anyone who interested in the stock market to get into it.
Right. Mr. Martin, we already have the first question for tonight. Is the app free or not? There was one question.
Well, you have to stay right through the end there. We do have some special giveaway.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Right. Lai Yong Sing, who you're asking this question, please do stay until the end of the session to hear what Mr. Martin is going to share. All right. Now, Mr. Martin, I don't want to keep the audience waiting.
Okay.
Floor is all yours. All right.
All right. Thank you. All right. As you can see, tonight our focus will always be in the US share analysis. All right. So first thing first, I think you all have seen what's happening in here. But before that, for those of you who have not used SMARTRobie, I have in front of you two QR codes that you can download it very quickly. One on the right-hand side is a Google Play Store, and the one on the Apple Play Store. So I'll just show it you right now. Take a picture, or you just go over to the Google Play Store, just type SMARTRobie, and you will pick this thing up, right? Because our time are quite short, and there's a lot of things I want to share with you tonight. So I don't want to keep it too much. All right, here. Now, we have seen 2023, what's really happening in the US market, the Wall Street that we have, right? So very important, especially those of you who are investing in the US market, you need to have a longer perspective. You just can't just look at the event that is happening, because this year, same thing, what we continued from last year, right? We still have the Russian-Ukraine war. We still have the US Federal Reserve Fed rate hikes. On top of that, we just have the recent SVB collapse, which is a Silicon Bank collapse, then followed by Credit Suisse this morning in here. So all this is really bearing a lot of issues, and a lot of investors, especially those who are even looking in the US market. And also some of the audience are asking, how about the Malaysian banking stock? Would it be all affected by all this, right? So very important. This is the part that we as investor, you and me, we always have to think this thing, right? This word. This is in Chinese, right? Danger is opportunity. I'm sure you've seen it before, and I'm not the first one flashing in here. So we always have to look at it from this perspective, the danger and the opportunity in there. If you just see danger, then tonight is just something good I can learn about. But if you see opportunity, and if you want to learn something tonight, definitely this is why you want to be using our company Trade VSA SMARTRobie apps. All right, now, this is really looking at a longer time frame. We're almost about 100 years. Now, let me draw your attention in here. I hope you can read some of the text inside here. Is the S&P 500. Because tonight, the context is on US market in here. Now, pay attention to those red bars, okay? So let me just bring up my little laser marker here. The red bars are the one that you see here. So you can definitely see on the long run, going back to 1930s, there are more blue bars. What does blue bar means? Blue bar means make money here lah, right? Blue bar means make money here. Of course, red bar is losing money here lah. Last year, we all know, 2022, everybody lost money, especially in the US market side. But this year, we are coming back in here. Now, the message I want to give out on this S&P 500, as you can see, every losing year, right? Every losing year, the next year is a winning year. All right, every losing year is the next year is a winning year. Now, this is like a seasonality, something that I'm very, very positive, and I'm seeing an opportunity in this junction in here. So for those of you who don't see in here, it's kind of difficult because I've been in the US market since way back to 2009. So if you look back after the great financial crisis, this long red bar here, there were market booms, right? Remember? 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. Right until 2018, where we have the trade war between, at that time, President Trump and President Xi. So 2018 was a down year, but subsequently, the market picked back up, and we do know in the COVID 2020, the time, there were a lot of people interest rate will drop and then the market somehow push up. We know this was a tech boom, right, in 2021. So right now we are in 2023, and very important, right, is how you see it. Now, depending on what press you read and the kind of news you get it in here, one side is the negative. People will tell you crash, right? And the other side will be the opportunity. And they all happen pretty much in the same day, depending what news you read on. So I will choose, typically for me, to focus more on the positive side, right? And that's where it is. The opportunity is. So if you're just looking at the crash, you will probably sell everything and put your money under your pillow. That's not the whole purpose here. The whole purpose is looking for opportunity in here, all right? So if you notice, this is where I see the opportunity. Now, every year that is down here, I shared with you before, right? If you notice, 2022, the market was down 19%, 19% down, right? Subsequently, 2023, we are the positive. But if you go back to 2018, down 6%, we are up 28.88%. 2015, we are down minus 0.7%, we are up 9%. This is the same S&P chart that you get it from slickchart.com. So what is simply saying, every down year, there's going to be an up year. Now, again, how you look at it. If you again look at it from opportunity point, this might just be the repeat of what we will see. So if that's the case, what should I be looking right now? And that's one of the talks we're going to be talking tonight. Now, of course, things that made 2022 for what it is, we all know, was the US Fed interest rate hike. Now, this is a very good history that shows you the pace of the hike. Now, if you look back, generally, most interest rate hike gradually goes up. It goes up like 25 basis point in one quarter, 25 basis point in another quarter. So there's a lot of talk right now about 25 basis point or no interest rate hike, 75 basis point. That's the one you've been hearing, right? The reason is, going back to 2022, we saw 75 basis point hike for 4 quarters. And that was what disrupted that boom that we see in the US market. And the market collapsed in 2022. So the same thing they are talking in right now. Now the SVB, the Silicon Valley Bank collapse, might just pause the US Fed Chairman, Jerome Powell, to pause the interest rate. And that's why we are seeing the 25 basis point right now. And right now, last night, even on the NASDAQ, the market rebounding back. So a lot of the technology stock, okay, in the US market, with the exception of the banking stock, are slowly recovering right now. So if you're on the banking stock, it will take some time, because not until they sorted out the Credit Suisse issues, right, which is, they are slightly going to be injecting more capital in it, which you've been following the news. So technology side, you will see a lot of them pops out. And there's 1 or 2 shares that actually came out in my screener, in my scanning. I will share with you tonight what you should be doing over there. All right. So you can see interest rate has a tremendous impact, especially going into the NASDAQ, the technology, which many of us, you and me, have been buying a lot of those shares in here. All right. And Silicon Valley Bank, like it or not, is like a blessing in disguise. Finally, they may just pause the interest rate, or maybe just reduce the quantum of the interest rate hike, maybe from 75 basis point to 25 basis point. And that's what causing this right now, the tech market to react. So that's why I see an opportunity where other may not see it, depending, where you're coming from and the kind of training and the people you listen to. And I do know that many of you who listen to Rakuten Trade will see both sides of the picture, both opportunity and also the crisis situation. So for tonight, the SMARTRobie, which you can download it, we will be focusing on the S&P 500, which I do feel that very, very comfortable for most Malaysian, rather than looking the entire NYSE or NASDAQ, which could be like close to about 8,000 over shares. S&P 500 just focus on the 550 plus. Plus, I'm sure that Rakuten also add in a couple of ETF, which they do have it on their Rakuten Trade. But on SMARTRobie, we only have the S&P 500. We don't have any of those ETF yet. So what is really SMARTRobie? Now, if you look in hindsight, SMARTRobie basically is a stock market assistant. Basically, you want to check your stock with SMARTRobie. What is it saying, right? And we use a very special technical analysis, which I've learned over the years. It's called volume spread analysis, which stands for VSA in short. It is very, very popular in US, and also was made it as part of the course syllabus in the SGX Academy. So the Singaporeans already start using it. So we Malaysians also must learn it, so we don't want to be left out. And also, we also combine the popular fundamental analysis, which is called FA right now. So this app is tailored for millennium use. And the goal is to allow many of the users to, very important, trade smartly every time with SMARTRobie. Okay. So what can SMARTRobie app do while others not? Now, we have this 6 of great function that we have going from trade idea research, live data, the Pentagon guided chart, news, and so forth. But due to the time that we have, we can only focus on 2 segments in here. Now, first of all, how do you use it? I'm sure you've been gradually getting a lot of the US trade idea from the Rakuten Telegram trade, which I do. So occasionally I'm looking for trades. So I get news like this, where the Rakuten marketing, which is very, very convenient, they'll send out news like this. Salesforce are doing something. Zoom is doing something. Have you bought any of the stocks recommended by Rakuten Trade? So before we buy this, we just cannot just take it. I need to analyze it. Then of course the question will ask is, can buy or not, right? Isn't it? That's the whole question. So if I buy something, even if I go out and eat durian, I must know what I'm eating, correct? So very similar. So SMARTRobie in this way helps you. At least you know what you're doing, and we keep it very simple. Other things that I do see very common in Rakuten Trade Idea Telegram is earnings report. Okay, so those earnings are coming. Example, we have C, Manchester United, Dick Sporting Goods, okay, CrowdStrike. And so how can I learn more about this earning company, using whatever is available? But at the same time, I may not be good in FA, I may not be good in TA, especially in US context, which I know more about Malaysian stock, but US, this is very far away. So how can I speed and learn things fast? So this is where SMARTRobie really does it very well. So tonight focus will be more on those research of those ideas and talking about the trading plans, the exit strategy, and also looking at what we have something offer called the SMARTRobie FA rating, which is fundamental analysis rating in here. And also not to forget our proprietary Pentagon guided chart. All right. The others, maybe we'll come back for a part 2 if I get invited by Rakuten Trade again. Now, if you look at the SMARTRobie in here, so right now we have a monthly pass. Use it to activate for all exchange, KLSE, S&P 500, SGX, and Hong Kong. So from 1st of February to 31st of March, which is still right now, you can activate. And guess what? You still have a chance to win a 50 ringgit touch and go voucher. So in tonight's scope, we will choose S&P 500. All right. So once you choose S&P 500, you'll come to one main menu. It's very easy to use one main menu. We only have 2 main menu. One main menu and one sub menu, right? So this is the first main menu where we have the so-called stock trade idea and the S&P, what is it doing now, right? So just bear with me first. So we're just going to go on to the stock side first. Since tonight, the talk is about share analysis. So we're going to go down to the stock. So when you get to the SMARTRobie apps, you can rewatch this, serve this as a training guide, and you can type AAPL, right? I'm sure many of you know what is AAPL is, right? AAPL is Apple, right? So after you put in the Apple, right, and then we have a drop-down list that comes up. And these are our so-called sub-menu list for individual stocks. Now, of course, stock live data not so important, right? But more important is item number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, number 1 will be basically from a VSA comment, stock comment. So we are looking about volume spread analysis comment, and of course the chart. Number 2 will be the stock fundamental related to the individual chart. In this case, is Apple. Then the trading plan, so-called talking about the how would I approach this stock if I'm going to enter here, exit there, and then finally exit strategy. If I have bought this stock, let's say I bought Apple, last month when my friend told me to buy, and should I sell now or should I hold it? So exit strategy is the item number 4. So if you look at this, let's go on to the first item, which is item number 1, stock comment and charts. All right, we choose DKS, stand for this Dick Sporting Goods, which was one of the earnings, right? And one of the reasons why this is a pretty good stock to study, because this is a really good example. Now, in the SMARTRobie stock comment and chart, we have all the VSA information. And let me just go through with you piece by piece. On top of that, let me just get it up, is the Pentagon flow. Now, Pentagon Guider flow basically talks about the strength and weaknesses of the stages, which mean the stock market stages where they are. Now, all things being equal, right? We don't want to be too high, we don't want to be too low, right? There is a nice number, and the nice number actually looks at the 60 to 70% that actually gives the best setup. Okay, let me just move one more. Oh, okay, I'll go back again. Sorry, right. This is the one we're on. And then in between in here, the VSA, we have those what we call VSA information, right? In this case, DKS stand for Dick Sporting Goods. The Pentagon is in green Pentagon, but you'll see a blue trend zone because after this, the next slide will be the Pentagon guided chart. So usually he say for market weakness, we wait for the market to turn red. Now remember, there is a bar when the green Pentagon first came out, which was the 3rd of March. And since 3rd of March until yesterday, the market has been up 10.3% in here. All right. And the best number that we should be looking for are the 60 to 70%. Now, keep that number in mind. You have that 60 to 70% in here because all things being equal, I would likely choose a stock that is 60 to 70% in here. All right. So next thing is here is the Pentagon Guider chart. Now, the Pentagon Guider chart, always, we always say before, especially for beginner, you only want to enter one bar after the green Pentagon, which is the opening bar after the green Pentagon, which is the next day. In this case, the next day. That is the usual way we get all our beginner. Now, if you have entered, let's say hypothetically, you enter on the opening price of the, because the Pentagon Guider get updated every day. So once it get updated, like tonight, if you downloaded the app, some of those Pentagon will come out and then you can actually trade tomorrow at 9:30, all right? Trade 9:30. Now, if you take that opening, you're able to enter, then you can get in, all right? Until now, it's about 10.3%. Because one thing really find it very, very interesting, especially for the US market, especially 9:30, most of us are free after dinner. And then if you have found all our green Pentagon ready for us to trade, then that's where we can actually get in opening 9:30 because I'm not going to stay up to 4:30 in the morning. I get in, I trade the daily charts, I go for my target profit, and then I'm out. Right? So that's something that you want to be doing. Now, for the same chart, just because on the mobile phone, you can put it vertically, you can also rotate it, right? If you want to rotate it, there's on the left-hand side, there's one, you can just click on the button and the chart will rotate. And that makes it so much easier, just like what you normally see on the desktop, right? So in here, right, the guideline is green Pentagon, it's an up signal, red Pentagon is a down signal, all right? Treat it that way, and you can see there is a nice trend. And in there, you have this red line here, right? The red line here is the what we call the average true range stop loss. It is a professional approach where if the market were to close lower than that, you want to be exiting, all right? So what you do see here is the green Pentagon, market goes up. When you see red Pentagon, the market usually come back down, right? So does it mean red Pentagon, you should be out? But what we are saying that when you see red Pentagon, likely the market is starting to move downwards. You could have taken profit earlier, or you want to run your profit. We simply leave that strategy to the user that you're doing. So it's also good that you sort of play around with it, back test it, see what really fits you well in here, all right? So then you can also use 1 month, remember, right? If you want to just zoom it in there, we have a 1 month period time frame, we have the 3 month period time frame, all right? And we have the 6 month period time frame. The previous slide was a 6 month. So when you zoom in here, and this is interactive, so you can mouse over it, you can see the closing price, volume, things like that. So typically you will see it. But for tonight, because I want to enlarge it so you can see it better, so this is how you look at it. So of course, in this chart, you have a lot of this, what we call the VSA uniqueness. Things like UT stand for uptrust, right? And then we have the spring, SP, the test, which we do have a video tutorial, right? On the VSA SMARTRobie apps inside there. You just have to look for the link there. If not, you can contact me later on. We'll show you some of those videos, or you can follow me on my Facebook. Then you can learn more about this very unique sign of strength, which is the green arrow, and the sign of weakness are those red down arrow in here, all right? Just to keep things simpler in here. This just showing that the bullishness and the bearishness. But in short, especially if you're here with us first time, you want to be looking at the green Pentagon, usually the up signal, and the red Pentagon is where we were likely to get the market down. Now, next, we'll look at those people who like FA. FA are fundamental analysis, okay? Those people who like fundamental analysis, not necessarily the TA, we also have it in SMARTRobie. Now, pay attention to the FA rating, right? Now, FA rating is important. Now, if you are looking for something to invest in the longer term, look for those that at least 3 and above. The highest is 8, okay? 8 star, okay? So 3, 4, 5, 6, those are good. Anything less than 3 usually are trading now. So how we rate them, we have our own formula, own proprietary, basically looking all the financial metrics, looking at the intrinsic value, we're looking at the valuation, and then it comes out with a number with that, all right? So further on here, we also want our fundamental user to pay attention to sector average. This is where they'll look at, especially if Dick's Sporting Goods is a consumer cyclical, then you'll average out the sector average. For a normal person or for any analyst, that is very difficult. But for SMARTRobie, which is algo-driven, fundamental number crunching like ChatGPT, they can do it very well. So you can see from here why this is a very good FA stock. The sector average is almost 30 times, 29.22. But this PE is 13 times, so which means it is quite inexpensive. Now, second one, the ROE. We all know what is ROE, right? Return on equity, basically talking about profitability. The sector average is 28%, but this is giving it 45%. So that means it's doing much better. Okay, but the consumer cyclical, in this case, sector average is 2.6%. For dividend, is still paying 1.65%. So not too bad, right? So that's what it means. So if you are looking for some stocks that pay above the sector average, there could be some. So you can just go over to SMARTRobie in there and make sure you know those stocks first. All right, and you can type it in there. I'll give you one clue. You can try Coca-Cola KO. Okay, Coca-Cola KO do pay about a 5% dividend, and I really like that stock. And it is also a Warren Buffett stock too. And of course, those of you who want a bit more financials, you can click on this link that takes you to TradingView, and you can look at the trend and so forth. Now, I also want to draw your attention in here. SMARTRobie also calculate intrinsic value. All right, intrinsic value, it's a very complicated calculation, which is favored by myself. I used to be a financial analyst in here. So what we did, we make it simple. We calculated for you based on a discounted rate of return of 10%. It simply says that anything that we have, we discount 10% back by 1 year. So which means we are looking for a return, about 10% return. So in this case, at the discounted rate of return using that our own formula in here is about $486. Right now, the previous closing was 146. Now, if you scroll further down, which is actually in page 2, we have the TP, which is a target profit, right? A fundamental target profit based on projected PE, right? Because previously, if you go back to it, it is PE at 13.5 times. Should this company re-rated again to 15 times, then you're talking about a 14.2% upside at $167 in here. All right, and we also have, remember, those of you who really likes those video calculation, there is a URL link there. Click on that one and you can watch me explaining how I calculate the intrinsic value method in here. And of course, the top 3 shareholders is also good for those of you who like to follow, who are the owner. Now, let's go to the third one, which is the trading plan for DKS. Because once you decided to analyze it, well, what is it all this all about? Then we have what we call the VSA, volume spread analysis, technical analysis info. Now, these are very simple, but it's quite meaningful if you do understand what it means. It tell you whether the market is ready to go higher, is ready to continue in a sideways market, or it's just time to take profit. Now, if you look at this, we also have the technical TA technical information for trade positioning. Now, in this sense, we have R1 stand for resistance 1, R2 resistance 2, right? And then the weekly resistance and the closing price. So these are very good, especially those of you who like to trade support and resistance. And we find it, this works very well in all aspects of technical analysis, where you take profit at the resistance, you buy at the support in here, all right? For those of you familiar. Now, how do we use those information, the TA information, to build our trading plan? For a start, in here, now if you have missed the Pentagon guided entry, maybe you found that stock later, someone talked about it in here, and then you want to enter, assuming if you want to enter, then this is where we talk about only enter if the market break above the weekly resistance. In this example, right now showing you is $152, which is 4.3% from the last closing price. All right, so keep that in mind. So usually we want to look for stocks that just turn green Pentagon to be on the safe side, right? So this information R1, R2 is automatically calculated by SMARTRobie for you. So you save you a lot of time and you don't have to draw it. All you got to do is pencil those numbers, the R1, R2 in the SMARTRobie watch list alert. Or if you have any alert that the Rakuten has, put it in there. If it hits you, you want to take some action or whatever the case is. Now, also finally is item number 4, which is, let's say you have already have DKS, right? DKS stands for Dick Sporting Goods. So if you hold it, what do you do with it? What is your exit strategy in here? And of course, you want to hold it. You want to wait for the TP, the target profit. So what is the VSA analysis right now? So you can see from here, it will tell you Pentagon Guider right now is already green and in strong condition, which is a blue trend zone. You see the blue trend zone. But be cautious. Should Dick Sporting Goods turn weak with red Pentagon? There are equally signs of strength and weakness for a sideways continuation mode. So which tells you right now, Dick Sporting Goods is likely to move in the sideways. All right. So this TA information can be used to make an informed decision whether you want to stay on, you want to take profit, or you want to chop out, right? But right now we are likely to see a sideways continuation movement. So all those information in here, if you plop it, you put it into a chart like you normally do it, right? So make it quite easy for you here, just to illustrate. You have R1, R2, the weekly support, S1 and S2, right? So the VSA analysis basic just tell you, hey, this market's not going to go anywhere. But if he hit R1, I like to take profit. If he goes down to the weekly support or break below the weekly support, I want to be out. But definitely you can see here the ATR stop loss. This is the ATR stop loss. That's the one you want to be out. Okay. So ATR stop loss in here is the figure. Watch out for the ATR stop loss. It's above it in here. R1 will be maybe my target profit, which is 4.3% at 152, or at R2, 162 at 11.4%. So those are the choice that if you are a trader, you can make, or you can combine your own TA, where I can use my own TA with the VSA and adopt and mix and match, see what works for you in here. But it does give you a very solid idea how you want to be using these technicals to it. Because fundamentally, this is a good company, as I said before in here, then we just need to make some trade position, some decision whether R1, I want to do something, at support, I want to do another thing, and so forth. So then it boils down to the question, when do I use SMARTRobie? Now, it depends on your strategy right now, but I do know that Rakuten are usually a lot of the users buy to go long, and this market is definitely a long kind of position here. So for that, we use the SMARTRobie main menu, which is the Pentagon Guider Daily Trade Idea. Okay, Daily Trade Idea. So you go back to the main screen in there and you click on the Pentagon Guider Trade Idea. So this is from yesterday, which is the 15th of March. And definitely you can see some stocks that you're very familiar with. All right. So we always start with something we are familiar, because US, as I said before, there's a lot of stocks, and we don't, I'm not sure about you, I don't live in US. You know, I follow US, but there are only so much I can follow. But definitely from here onwards, you can see what I like so far. Now, one of the things I like so far in here is, first of all must be green Pentagon. All 4 of them are green Pentagon, number 1, number 2. There's 3 and 4 also, but I just want to show you 5 and 6. 5, you all know, this is Facebook. But in Microsoft, why I like it in this case? Because the Pentagon flow is 70%. Now, I said earlier, the Pentagon flow has to be 60 to 70%, will give you the best setup, all right? So that's the one I like. So I will look at it, create a trading plan for that one, and see whether this is something that I want to be looking into tonight. Now, of course, first thing, we have to adopt this framework. Just like any trader, it's always have a very good educational adoption to looking the market. Number 1, we analyze first. We analyze the FA first. So when we analyze the FA, we see what is the FA rating. Oh, this one not bad. Microsoft is giving me a 4. PE is only 27 times. Okay, sector average is 62, but it's 20, and ROE is almost 40%, no? Or 1% dividend now, okay? And there's a target price 274, which is 3.5% at 30.5 times. So that is the projected PE right now. So which is very close to there, which is only 3% in here. So should I want to take this trade? So this is something will be left in here. So after you look at the fundamentals, right? Then you plan your TA. After you plan your TA, where you want to buy, where you want to sell, where you want to take target, and then you do the execution through the Rakuten trade, which they have opened up 9:30 every night. So you can see from here, right? Let's do a trading plan, and we go to the SMARTRobie trading plan. So remember, the best entry is always the bar after the green pentagon. So in this case, was last night. Last night was the best entry. If you had got into 200, got in at 260, you already be in the money, because we always say, green pentagon, then next day is a market opening. All right. So from here, you can see if you right now you want to do this trade, you might only, I would suggest, only if you break the weekly resistance. In this case, it's 268 US dollar, 1.1% from where we are right now. Now, very interesting. Also, SMARTRobie will also inform you. Currently, their next EPS quarterly date is 30th of March, right? And usually, which is about another 42 more weeks to the 30th of March. So we also found out that smart money generally will move this stock if the quarterly earnings is good. And we all know that, right? So some people always say, maybe tomorrow got quarterly earnings report. I don't want to hold, I take profit first. If you have a nice profit in here. All right. So this could be registering a nice profit. As you can see, a lot of buzz behind the ChatGPT, which is going there. I don't know, not too sure. But on technical wise, you can also see, those of you who is familiar with technical, Microsoft has a double bottom also here. You can see that here is a nice double bottom, and then you see a nice line change. All right. Of course, this is just looking at 1 month. You can turn to a 3-month period or 6-month period, and then rotate your chart inside there. I'm also sure that Rakuten also has some sort of a charting tools, and you can also use that. But this is good enough just to pick up where SMARTRobie trading idea for Microsoft. Okay, so the VSA basis will tell you the background behind. And remember, the more SOS, which is the sign of strength, okay, the stronger the background. So right now he has a strong background. So I do think that tonight, judging from what I've seen in here, the Microsoft boleh jalan one. Okay, so that's all we cover tonight. As I said before, we have we're going to do a little bit of a Q&A in here. The trade stock idea in here on TP, exit, and the Pentagon Guider live chart that we have seen before in here. So unfortunately tonight, if I put the SMARTRobie apps into tonight, you probably can't see it. So I have to screenshot it. Those of you who are able to download it, that'll be great. Now, of course, you can also try out the others. Thing which I won't be covering tonight is the watch list. So assuming you found Microsoft and you want to put an alert at 265 or 268 as a profit target in here, so you can key those in there. And so when it has it, also come to you. But one thing also great about this is those stock that hasn't turned green pentagon yet. Maybe for example, you like Nvidia, okay, or you like TSMC. All right, any stocks that you like, especially tech stocks, a lot of people like it. That has turned red pentagon, okay? So you're waiting for it to turn green pentagon, you can also add that in. So when the green pentagon comes, you get alert and you can sort of go in. And that's really one of the so-called real value. You can use the watch list. Maybe when I get invited for the part 2 of this, then we can go through this so-called tutorial just to share with you how I will use the pentagon. But it's not that difficult. If you are familiar using any of those apps out there, you definitely want. But what is unique about SMARTRobie is the Pentagon Guider, which is a proprietary, right, using the VSA volume spread analyst as one of our background in here. And we have combined the FA2 with the SMARTRobie rating, making it so much easier for everybody in here. So those trading plan that you have set up, use those to manage your price alert in here. All right, so in summary, we got a lot more than we can really share in here. But just for tonight, I'm just going to share with you. Now, this is the best part of it. Not only you can download it and activate and use it for free, you get another 500 credit too. All right. So this voucher code here, with a Rakuten 23. And again, I understand you need to activate before 12 midnight tonight, and you'll get that 500 credit point in here. All right. And so I do think that this is a great app. You can adopt it. Definitely, I think many of you, not necessary just for the US market, because the methodology, once you have learned it, you can also apply it to the KLSE, and I use it very successfully using it in here. And especially some of you who wanted to go over to Singapore market or Hong Kong market, we do have those 4 exchange in there, right? So one methodology, right, with 2 so-called analysis, looking from fundamental, looking from the technical, the VSA one, but with 4 exchange in here. All right, so that's all I have for tonight. I kept things to just, the working mechanism of SMARTRobie in here. You can follow me at facebook.com SMARTRobie, or at the tradevsa.com website in here. And like it or not, I'm the creator of the Pentagon Guider. Took a while, and we are the local company to do this, which I do get a lot. Are you from Singapore? No, we are actually, from Malaysia, been here many years in here, but just that I've learned it from my Sifu, which is Tom William, the creator of volume spread analysis. And we are bringing this technology to our local Malaysian shore, and eventually, we are able to export it. All right, so that's all I have for tonight, my talk here. So we'll go through some Q&A.
Great. Thank you, Martin, for the very insightful session that you've given us. I think a lot of our audience here will definitely benefit from your sharing earlier. Now, I just want to let you guys know who are watching this session, right? You guys have any question for Martin? I think you guys do, because I think given the roller coaster we had for a couple of days, if you guys have like dying questions that you want to ask right now, like just feel free to ask in the comment section below, and I'll just highlight it during right now the Q&A session right now. Just want to highlight one more thing, that do stay on to the rest of the webinar session, about another, let's say, about 20 more minutes. So we'll be sharing the survey link for you guys to fill up, for you guys to get 1,288 RT points. Now, Martin, I do notice that a few questions are already out here now. One question from Star World Venture. I had downloaded the app and top up. Is there any chance to have a yearly pass in the future, Martin?
A yearly pass in the future, that is something we are considering. But at this point, maybe not. We probably have a monthly basis with that one. But I will always take in some requests if we have more of that. Because we don't want to commit too long too. Sometimes we have a monthly pass, and then we do change more offer. And also we don't want to lock down people. So right now it is free to use. So I think our intention is to make this a low barrier of entry. It's not going to be very expensive compared to some of the software out there that costs tens of thousands of ringgits. Okay, we intend to make it common for everybody to use it.
Right. Support Locker, guys, go and download SMARTRobie right now.
Okay.
Martin, so I think there's another very, very positive comment from Zhao Weisi, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Very fruitful session. Hope to see more up-to-date technology tools to bring into Malaysia. Now, and I think a lot of audience right here, I think we're very proud to hear this high-tech platform that I think, Martin, that you have developed. I think we have seen a lot of positive comments here. Now, I just want to also address this comment from Ian. If the market will be closed for 5 years starting tomorrow, Martin, what will be the top shares that you'll buy today?
I think this is a Warren Buffett kind of thing. I do think that people should not approach the market where it will be closed for 5 years. Anything changes, to be frank with you. If you think today you buy a banking stock, right, and it can be closed. Every changes it is, right? Just like a car, you wouldn't buy a car and leave it not to use for 3 years, isn't it? Right? So it's not fair to give you those stocks, because a lot of us, like it or not, I also want to buy a stock, because people come in. They said not 5 years, no, 10 years better, right? But we really don't know. The future is so hard to predict. But I do know the closest answer we have for you is just keep it in cash. You'll still be cash 5 years from today, right?
Right. Right. I think just want to highlight one thing is that I think a lot of I think a lot of our audience out here are, to be frank, I think they are very beginner, to be honest. So I just want to like ask you this question, like whether the platform provided by you, the SMARTRobie platform, is it really suitable for beginners that, you know, maybe just started off in the Bursa market, like really right now I want to tap into the US market, right? Like, what do you think? Do you think it's very
I
suitable
think
for
it's a very good
beginners to use?
transition. I think it's a
Right.
very good transition for the, because the methodology, as I said before, you learn it from Malaysia. You have all the FA, all the TA too. So if you get it work for Malaysia, of course, most Malaysians will say it's cheaper lah. You know, I can buy 100 share at 1 ringgit, so 500 ringgit. But US is different, right? But do take note, in Malaysia, we may not see the kind of trend that we are seeing in here. Right. That's why we also have a look at the fundamental. Now, depending, like if you're just a punter, you just want to trade technically, you can do so. Then you don't need to look at the FA. But the fact that many people, especially beginner, it's important you look at FA. After all, you want to know what you're buying to, right? Right. So if I know, like for tonight, if I buy Dick's Sporting Goods, I know I get 2% dividend. Okay. And if I know I buy Microsoft, I get 1% dividend. Right. Those are the things. And if I buy now, I know the entry signal is there. Right. I think very important is that for our Malaysians, we need to manage the expectation. You know, market is not going to always go up. So sometimes when you have a little bit of profit, don't be greedy. Take it. Come back in again. After all, I do know Rakuten Trade, your brokerage are one of the lowest costs. So, you know, it doesn't make sense for me to save commission just to hold the share.
A lot of people scared. Let's say sell only, then the price go up further. So that's why, yeah.
Then buy back again lah.
That's why I don't want to sell. Yeah. But again, I think that there's always this ego, right? Like when you sell off already, then the price goes up, right? Then that this ego that's stopping you. You know what? I don't admit that I made a wrong mistake, things like that. So yeah.
So
yeah, I think yeah.
I think that's a very good question. You don't want to admit wrong.
Yeah.
That's where SMARTRobie comes in. Now remember, SMARTRobie using volume spread analysis, which is actually practiced by a lot of professionals in here. So we have done a lot of back tests. The VSA, Red Pentagon, or even the R1, R2 are very optimum, right? They are one. So you at the end of the day, you have to use it and use it as your assistant, just like ChatGPT. You know, you will ask them, where is a good profit to take? Because I did try out, you know, I try all those things. What is a good stock to buy? ChatGPT won't answer you. Right? But if you ask SMARTRobie, it'll tell you Microsoft, I think Meta and DVB. Then you check it. So we are trying to. Now, when we started the company Trade BSA, we was built with the chatbot in mind, right? That time they don't have ChatGPT yet, but we know that the path that we are taking, that they will not ever build investing because no one can predict the future. But we have a method. Right, we have a method, we have the algorithm, and to me, that algorithm sometimes for normal people to learn, it takes a long time. So what we did, we put that algorithm into a robot. So right now we're making it almost free to no cost at all. So just like ChatGPT, no cost at all. Use it, you know. Of course, I have to say, not all trades will work, but if there is a good strong trend and you pick it right there, why not? You know, all right, it will help you definitely. There is something you can turn to today. Who can you turn to US stocks? You either turn to the research people, or you read here, read there, then you scare yourself, just like what I talk about, crisis and opportunity. If you hear one guy keep telling you scare, you don't need to buy anything. Right. So the other thing you've done is that you attend a course, listen to certain seafood. But right now, your SMARTRobie will give you a very independent view. There's a resistance, there's a stop, there's an entry, and there's weakness coming. You want to take profit. So use that to leverage that, just like ChatGPT. Use that into your strength. And you don't need to trade it, you know? You don't need to trade it. True. You can just follow it for a couple of months until you're comfortable. And also tell people, just paper trade it, right? Buy one share. Buy one share of Microsoft, which is only using Rakuten Trade, which is only 260, 1,000 ringgit, and see how you go from there.
I think the paper trade exercise that you just highlight is a very good activity for beginners out there to try. Like if you guys like doubt or doubt whatever that SMARTRobie able to provide, download the app today, right, and check out what the analysis that SMARTRobie will provide. don't need, you basically don't need to trade. Just assume that you put in a bit money on, say, Microsoft, and see where it goes, see whether the technical analysis that the platform provided, whether it works for you or not. So I think there's a very good platform to actually basically solve the gap, whereby you probably use your emotion when you trade your shares. Yeah. So do download your SMARTRobie right now, guys. It's free. I do have one more question, a couple of more questions, I think.
Sure.
Which sector stocks I should buy now? I think this one very, a lot of people has been asking, volatility of the market and with the SVB news, what advice that you should provide?
Okay, again, depending on your time frame. As I said before, to me, I like growth stocks. Okay, my own portfolio, I have growth stocks and I have value stocks. Okay, now if you are one of those who like to buy on dips one, you might go over and buy all the banking stocks. Correct. Right. If you want to buy banking stock, then go over to SMARTRobie, put in BAC, Bank of America, type in BAC, see when the green pentagon comes out. That's what I would do. Because once the green pentagon comes, then there's the time I'll be looking. All right. If I'm then if I'm a technology, all right, right now it's very hot. All the what we call all the AI, then NVIDIA would be my favorite. So I'll type NVDI, NVIDIA, and see what it says. Correct. So this is where, remember, SMARTRobie, when we build it, it's supposed to assist the person rather than you ask one person. Now you ask SMARTRobie, SMARTRobie never sleeps. And tonight, with the new data that it gets from the exchange, it will crunch those numbers, input it, and another sets of update the VSA basic information that we have, and you get updated. So it's like a stock market assistant. Right. So when it comes to the sector, it all depends on what you like. At the end of the day, it's a flare. I can tell you to buy maybe consumer defense. Correct? I will probably ask you to buy ketchup. Either Heinz. Some people may not like it. Of course, it's not sexy, Some people want the sexy one. True. I want to buy AMD.
Tesla.
Tesla. Those are sexy. Those are things everybody know, So it's a very difficult position to it. But more important, as I said before, always have a plan. Okay. If it doesn't work out, what do you do? Okay. If it doesn't work out, I cut loss. Right. Now remember, in trading, I'm talking about trading, right? Perspective, you will win some, you will lose some. So make sure your losses are small, your winners are big. But the problem is a lot of people, they don't have a plan at all. They go in, they listen to your friend. After they buy, hey, what should I do? Then I said, SMARTRobie already tell you to exit. How can you exit? Then now I need to do something.
Right. Yeah. True, absolutely true. I think one of the things that I wish I know earlier is actually basically how to set my stop loss. I think a lot of people out there are struggling basically to really determine when I want to get out, or even when I want to, like, let's say I have I have a certain profit already. Should I get out now, or should I sell half or things like that? Yeah. So yeah, I think with SMARTRobie, I think you definitely can able to bridge the gap here.
And remember, SMARTRobie is very neutral one. It says what it says. Yeah. If the market is falling,
not biased,
it's going down. It's still on a downtrend. So I always tell people, be patient, just wait for the green pentagon. Right. And if you want to run your profit, you wait for the red pentagon, or maybe you have a certain percentage, right? And a certain percentage also must be realistic. Cannot be only 500% profit only I want to take. It's not gonna happen, that kind of thing. Like just now, the chart I show you, the typical average return a year, certain years about maybe 20-30%. So be realistic to it. I think it's also good to come in with some realistic time frame, especially when we're beginner. We will make mistakes, but definitely having SMARTRobie will help you to avoid it. Whether you listen to it or not, then it's good. But we do have some of our earlier batch of people use SMARTRobie. They follow it very diligently. Right, green pentagon, and they go in. Unless they got better in reading charts, I can do better than SMARTRobie, because I know when it will turn green pentagon. That's fine. But when you first use it, you do not know when it will turn. So continue to read those charts. Like I shared with you. You can rotate it, then you get a nice full version. And of course, I do know that one of our user had it on iPad. Okay, so it makes the chart bigger a bit.
Right. Martin, I have one question from me He asked that, hi Martin, thanks for the useful info. Can I seek your opinion on US ETFs or leverage ETFs, bull and bear?
Okay.
What was your opinion on this, Martin? Yeah.
I think ETF is definitely a good way of doing it. Now, let me give you a story, right? Now, ETF is usually something I teach to my students here. When you buy certain stock like TSMC, NVIDIA, Apple, these are like buying the player, Leon Messi, okay? Right. Or you're buying Neiman, all this. So they got up day and down day one, okay? Remember, when football player, when they're on form, every time they will score.
Every time
right?
Score, yeah.
That's like, when you buy ETF, you're buying the team. Sometimes you know Argentina team cannot perform, right? So you have to have that in mind. So if you are conservative, right, the kind of thing, then you go for ETF, lah, right? And then depending whether you are a risk taker, some people want to go for 3 times, 2 times. It's all go into it, right? Now, it's always easy to say, but not until you put your money, because your emotion will be in a way.
True.
So a lot of people say, I buy ETF. 1 time, too boring. I go 3 times. But 3 times, you go up and down, they say, hey, not for me, right? So you have to just try it out, do something. Because especially Rakuten has a lot of offering. You have the ETF, you have the inverse, you have the 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, all right? So they are very sexy. So always stick to something basic first. And always give yourself time to learn, because when we start off in beginner, mistakes that we make will end up losing money.
Very kanchong one, like beginner, want to start that time, very kanchong, want to fast go and buy. They don't take the time to learn and stuff like that. Yeah.
And of course, now ETF is certainly very good. I think many of you would have known. You look at certain ETF, inside the ETF, you know who are the players, isn't it, right? You see Leon Messi. I'm sorry, I'm not really a big football fan. I cannot know all the football names. So you can see those are like the top 5 or top 6 of the ETF. And then you plug those out and put it into SMARTRobie. And then you see where are the green pentagon, red pentagon.
Martin, any ETFs that beginners should be actually looking at? Any examples?
I think you can look at the S&P 500 ETF, which is a VOO.
Right.
Yeah. You just start S&P 500 ETF inside there. There are the big component. Of course, the biggest S&P 500 is Tesla. Right. You have Tesla. You can't get away with Microsoft, the FANGs, okay, the Facebook, Google, all this. But I can tell you, Facebook just turned green pentagon yesterday. I think it's making up a move.
Yeah. Oh, guys, if you're watching this, make sure you write on your note. So speaking of VOO, I think VOO also is one of our beginners' favorite ETFs.
VOO is a ETF that you're buying on the US market. So I always tell our Malaysian fans inside here, as you spend longer time in the stock market, I think education is something that we owe it to ourselves. Agreed. And I think Rakuten Trade has a very wonderful platform, informing all the students, inviting people in like myself to educate. And that's where you want to take this opportunity to learn and really ask questions and widen your horizon. I mean, if you look back 10 years ago, we couldn't invest in US because the brokerage was too expensive. But right now, it's a different story altogether.
Right.
So there's a competition, as I said before. You have the local KLSE market, then you have the US market. So what does that mean? That means is that eventually you will get more sophisticated. Hopefully you also have more savings, more income. Then you can diversify out, some US market, some Malaysian market in here. But if you are just, small amount of money, then you have to choose. You have to choose Malaysia or US market in here. But of course, all of us, we have to start somewhere. But as you progress in your career, you will generally have more money, then you get more sophisticated, right? Depending on the products, right? Sometimes you come to a point that, I don't want to buy any of those tech stocks. I will just focus on ETF. Or some of them that I will not touch the ETF, I just focus on those, main stocks. For example, like you will be interested in all the semiconductors stocks, right? Like this AMAT, Applied Magnetics. Okay, those are a flare, but then you want to go in and study more about them.
Right. I think time is almost running out. Martin, let you just address one more question from Eric Chin. Martin, is intrinsic value for a stock changing in real time, like after earnings release and everything? What do you think?
Depending on the model, of course, depending on the model that you took. The model that we are used on our YouTube is based on the profitability on the ROE. most intrinsic value calculation will be based on depending if you are using discounted cash flows. Discounted cash flows, of course, change. Now cash flow, interest rate change. Every quarter change, so you have to recalculate again. So sometimes it really doesn't really make sense, right? So one of the things I always use, I use the technical intrinsic calculator, which is a 200-day moving average. Okay.
Right.
So if I look at the stock, and that stock, I feel that this stock is not too bad. I mean, if you look previously, on hindsight, like Meta, Facebook, when he went through that bad sales and it dropped, right? And then when that was like below 200-day moving average, more than 30 to 40%. That's, to me, it's like it's a undervalued intrinsic value already, right? So that's what I usually teach that. But of course, it's easier said than done. That time you say, wow, so bad. Then suddenly news came out, their advertising model are better. Then short, wow, straight up already. Right? So things changes inside here. Don't things are very dynamic for that one. So when it comes to intrinsic calculator calculation, it's good as a guide. You know where they are, but very rarely it kept it because the market is very dynamic.
Eric replied by saying that, does it reflect in a real time in SMARTRobie?
No. We calculate based on change of the equity. If the equity changes, the return on the equity changes, then it will change.
Right.
It calculates every day. Recalculate it every day.
Okay. I think we are almost the end of the session already. That's right. So right now, we'll share the feedback form for you guys right now to fill up. Make sure you guys do fill up before 11:59 p.m. tonight to get RT points. And then also do remember to use code RAKUTEN23, which will entitle you guys for 500 SMARTRobie points worth of 49 ringgit and 90 cents. Right, so do go and download the SMARTRobie app now, do it right now. All right, so do keep in mind, US market are gonna open at 9:30 p.m. So make sure you guys get ready for that. Right, thank you, Martin. I think it was a very pleasure to have you come out and have a session with us. Right, super insightful. The things that you have shared. We hope to have you back in our next session the next time. Right, sure. Martin, any final words for our audience here?
Yeah, I think that we are in the best US this year. As I said before, this year, every down year you're going to have an up year. Now all you got to do is just pay attention to what's happening in the Russian-Ukraine war. Once they can control the inflations, right, then especially right now, if they don't raise interest rate or they slow down the interest rate raise, you can see a lot of the tech stock is going to move up. They're going to play catch up already. Right. If you look back on the S&P 500, there were always big move after a losing year. So that's what I'm looking for.
Right. Great. Thanks, Martin. Thanks, audience who stayed for this webinar tonight. We hope to see you again in the next session. All right. Good night and have a nice day ahead. Bye.
Bye.